Hey, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
Thanks for joining us for Tesla Time News.
Bite-sized.
Sponsored by our friends at the solar-powered hotels in Schaumburg, Illinois, the Fairfield Inn and Suites by Marriott, and the Town Place Suite Hotel right next door. They're both connected, they're both solar-powered, and they're the first and only hotels in Chicago that get a majority of their power from the sun.
All right, well, let's get into some news.
Yeah. How about this? According to the configurator on Tesla's website, the range of the Model 3 dual-motor long range just increased a few miles to 322 miles.
And the price has gone up $500. The range on the Model S long range has been increased to 373 miles, up from 370.
Yeah, and the Model X long range is up to 328 miles. And the Model X has also gotten some new front seats. Supposedly, this gives the second row some more space. They have seat pockets now instead of those like monolithic black plastic things that they had before.
Model X's being built now have the new seats.
So in its latest 10Q SEC filing, Tesla confirmed that it spent $96 million to acquire Highbar and DeepScale. So they spent $80 million in cash, and then they said on September 16th, 2019, we issued an aggregate of 67,526 shares of restricted common stock to 13 former shareholders of an acquired subsidy. That stock, by the way, is worth over $22 million. Compare this to the $207 million they spent on Maxwell Technologies. Seems like pretty cool investment.
This is very smart. I mean, you might be thinking like $80 million. That is a ton of money. And it is. But compared to Tesla, it's not that big an investment for getting some really, really elite people on board at the company to work on some really interesting things. For Highbar, that's obviously battery manufacturing. And for DeepScale, that's AI technology. We talked about this on a Tesla Time News some weeks back. Basically, the Highbar and the DeepScale acquisitions, both very smart.
And there's a cool over-the-air update coming. What is it?
It is 2019.36.1.
So what are we getting in it?
So we are getting stopping mode. So let me read the release notes and then we'll talk about it. So along with the previously available creep and roll settings, a new setting called hold is available as a stopping mode selection. When hold is selected, your vehicle continues to use regen braking after deaccelerating to a low speed and applies vehicle hold after coming to a complete stop. The hold setting maximizes range and reduces brake wear by continuing to provide regen braking at speeds lower than approximately 5 miles an hour.
Hold is one of my favorite things about a Tesla. It's actually one of these little secrets I didn't even know it had until I got my car. And then I was like, I love this. Whenever you come to a red light, let's say.
And you stop the car.
You push just a little teeny bit more on the brake. It puts the car into hold. You can now take your feet off the pedals and the car will not go anywhere. It's like you put your parking brake on. Mm-hmm. But then when you go to hit the accelerator, your car starts right back up again.
Right. And I love this because it works on hills, whether you're going up, whether you're going down. It means that it completely frees your foot while you're sitting there at a red light.
But what I don't get is we already had hold. So what is this giving us?
So this is a new feature. Basically, you know how with regen braking, it's nice. You get off the highway and it's slowing you down all the way. You're not riding the brakes. Mm-hmm. It's nice for hills. It's nice for slowing down for stop signs, everything like that. Mm-hmm. Now regen braking is going to work once you get down to about 5 miles an hour.
Oh.
So up to this point, I kind of was under the impression that was all regen braking could do for me, was just, slow me down to about 5 miles an hour. Turns out they can increase regen braking at even lower speeds and actually stop the car using nothing but the magnets in your motor, which means there is no brake pad wear.
Oh,
because, you can drive it now to where you get down to about 5 miles an hour when you're approaching a stop sign, and you're basically coasting at that point, and you have to hit the brake to stop the car. And it's significantly better than having to use brakes all the time, which you have to do on most ICE vehicles.
But what you're saying, this could almost bring us to entire one-pedal driving.
Yes, this could mean that you basically wouldn't have to ever touch your brake pedal because you would just be, with the regen braking on your right pedal, as long as you don't have to do any more abrupt, sudden braking, it means that you can do almost all your day-to-day driving with your right foot.
Wow. I love it. Now, there's also something about traffic cones.
So yeah, Tesla will now actually be able to identify traffic cones out on the road and show them in the visualization to actually, so, when you see the lane markings and other cars around you, now you will see traffic cones. And if you're in Navigate on Autopilot, it will suggest that you take a lane change to get away from the cones, because I don't know if you've noticed this before, but cones aren't usually exactly on the line. Sometimes they're like on the line, on the line, on the line, in the middle of the lane, on the line, on the line, on the line. And in fact, a lot of times they're actually trying to get you to merge into a neighboring lane so that they can do work on the roads ahead of you. So this is an amazing feature because now your car will say, hey, there's traffic cones. I should get away from them. They're a danger to my car, and it probably means that I'm going to need to merge soon. Really, really cool stuff.
Thanks so much for joining us on Tesla Time News Bite Sized, which comes out every Tuesday.
You can watch the full version of Tesla Time News right here.